He's 17 years older than me, Mom. I'm old enough to be his daughter. Nothing, it's just right. It suits you perfectly. A successful man, serious, rich. You'll be rolling around like cheese and butter, and at least Martha will see what it's like to live with her father. Jennifer sighed heavily. Her mother wooed her to a rich man. Jennifer was not married, went to university after school, studied for 3 years, and became pregnant. The father of the child quickly disappeared like water into the toilet, saying he had nothing to do with it. Let him get out himself. Jennifer was a proud girl, and never once disturbed her would-be father. Jennifer's mother, strangely enough, took the news of the baby in stride. The father rubbed his mustache happily, waiting for a grandson or granddaughter. After Martha was born, Jennifer completed her studies in absentia. My parents helped with everything, and everything was fine until my mother met Donald. She realized immediately that this was the kind of son-in-law they needed. Donald was the son of a friend of my mother's. Not married, his own business, his own apartment in an elite building, an expensive car. These are the kind of people you should marry and live happily ever after, my mother kept repeating. Mom took Jennifer with her to visit a friend. Where Donald was invited, he was fascinated by Anya's natural beauty, began to fell in love, in a word. Jennifer was pleased with the attention of such a man, but the butterflies in her stomach categorically refused to fly. There were no feelings and sympathies for him. But her mother flew on the wings of happiness, because everything was going according to plan. Jennifer, you will marry him and that's it. Consider a happy future in your pocket. And we have a father too. I hope he will not deprive his mother-in-law and father-in-law. I don't love him. How to live with someone you don't love? I've already loved one, and where is he now? I made a child, and went away like children to school. And Donald will take responsibility for someone else's child. God willing, you will give birth to a couple more kids. Then you will definitely live carelessly all your life. Jennifer did not like this idea. Donald persistently invited her on a date, gave her gifts, which Jennifer did not accept. Donald liked Martha very much. He gave her a huge doll and a tablet. He said she looked a lot like him. He was constantly interested in how she was doing. It was enough for the child to understand that Donald was good and kind. Mom, Donald proposed to me. So what should I do now? How to do what? Of course, if you agree, you will be tolerated, you will love it. Previously, parents chose husbands and wives for their children and lived nothing, gave birth to children and thanked their parents. Well, what awaits you in life if you marry a beloved but poor guy? You'll spend your whole life paying off your mortgage, then a loan for a car, and eventually he'll go on a rampage and leave you. There are so many cases like this, and you will pull everything on yourself with the children. So don't hesitate, marry him and live in peace. Mom, but happiness is not only about money. Donald is not bad, of course. He loves me and treats his daughter well. Maybe I really will marry him. Maybe I will love him. The wedding was gorgeous. The dress for Jennifer was brought from Italy, lace, and very expensive. Donald was beaming next to such a beautiful bride. Jennifer's mother was also happy that her daughter was placed in good hands. Only the bride had sad eyes. Jennifer, what kind of work is it? Don't you have enough money? The best salons and shops are at your disposal. Do you want me to open my beauty salon for you? Donald was saying. I can't sit around doing nothing. Salons and shops don't really interest me. I don't have enough live communication, and besides Mom and you, I don't see anyone. You don't allow your friends to come to us. You don't go to them either. We don't go anywhere. I feel like I'm in a golden cage. Well, you know, it's a sin for you to complain about the cage. I bought you a car. Go wherever you want. Salons, for example. I don't want to go to the salon. It's enough for me a couple of times a month. I am a teacher by profession. I like working with children. My wife will not work in kindergarten. That's it. The conversation is over, Donald replied. Jennifer sighed heavily. Here she is. A secure life. Boring, and that's all. She was not happy with her husband's gifts or money. Only the daughter was happy. Martha went to an expensive school and attended various clubs that they could not afford before. She constantly carried bags full of gifts to her parents. Mom took them for granted. Jennifer never got into her feelings for Donald. He began to arouse quiet hatred in her. She was annoyed by the way he ate, slept, watched TV, and the fulfillment of marital duty disgusted her. A month later, Anya announced, Donald, I have to tell you, I got a job in a good kindergarten. There's a place available. I'm going out next week. That's what it means. You're not listening to your husband. A plate flew into the wall, and Donald was covered with red spots. Jennifer had never seen him so angry before. I told you in English, no kindergartens. You're going to stay at home and listen to me. There's nothing to wag your tail there. It would be better to think about a child. I want a son. Jennifer was in shock. Tears were dripping directly into the plate from which she was eating. She got up silently and went into the bedroom. Mom, I'm packing up and moving in with Martha. Donald yelled at me. He won't let me go to work. I don't want to live like this anymore. I can't stand it, and I won't like it. I understood that for sure. It's only going to get worse. Don't be stupid, Jennifer. You live like a queen and twist your nose. I also have to thank Donald for marrying a girl with a child, and his parents accepted you as their own. Why do you need this kindergarten? To wipe other people's children's snot for a small salary. That's the happiness of sitting and not twitching. Jennifer cried. Why did she listen to her mother then and get married? Why would she live with a man she would never love, and life with him would be a burden? It's good for Mom to say. She lived with her father, whom she married for love. The next day, Martha did not go to school. Jennifer did not take her away on purpose. After collecting the necessary things, Jennifer called a taxi and left with her daughter for a rented apartment, which she found and booked online. She left a note for her husband, in which she wrote that she did not love him and wanted to divorce. She did not want to go home because her mother could turn her around from the doorway and send her back to her husband. Donald called, threatened at first, then asked in a good way to come back, but Jennifer stood her ground. As a result, the divorce, what she came to him with, she left with. Later, Jennifer fell in love with a simple guy, an ordinary builder, and now they live together. We got married, took out a mortgage on an apartment, and are insanely happy. Her son will be born soon, and her mother is sad in the quiet evenings that her daughter missed the chance to live comfortably. One day Donald drove up to the house when Jennifer and Martha were walking on the lawn with the dog, looked at the house and said, "It's just a real shack compared to my house." Jennifer didn't say anything, just looked at him as if he was flawed, and Martha said, "But there is happiness in this house."